Hey, greetings my fellow slingers. Welcome back once again to our Delta Green Homebrew Under a Pale Moon episode 3. This was one of those rare scenarios where the boys and I sat down for almost 5 hours recording this scenario, and no, that's not the total of the whole. There are more parts than that. But there's always something amazing about when you begin an adventure and don't stop after the first hour. As a listener of podcasts, of which I am as well, we're doled out hour-long pieces as the story unfolds. Sure, the structure is set up to be absorbed in such a way, anything longer than an hour, excluding a finale or combat, tends to start losing the audience. Anything shorter than, say, 50 minutes leaves them stranded and wanting more. But as a player or handler / GM, we really start hitting our immersion groove at about the 2-hour mark. So when we start our recording sessions, and we don't have to call it at the end of an hour, I can feel the hard slingers really soaking up the story. And that's really comes across in their performances. I know that when we start having our rapport back and forth and we start having the dialogues as they're interacting with the NPCs or even interacting with themselves, if they don't have that time constraint or they know that they don't have to worry about what they're going to say to be carried over to next week, and so they don't feel the crunch of having to get it all in that night or try to remember what happens next week. That's even hard as well. They have a tendency to really expand their immersion. I know I like to say immersion. I just, for some reason I picked that word tonight and it's just really singing with me. But, as they're soaking up that story, and I really think it comes through. But you know what? I know how I feel about the stories, and I know how I feel about extending our recording sessions like that. But you know what? I want to let you guys be the judge of that. So let me know by writing into me at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com. Also, now that Under a Pale Moon has wrapped, although, like I mentioned, all the pieces haven't dropped yet, we've started up our Bloodlords AP once again. So don't worry, no, we haven't given up on it, and those episodes will start dropping once again after Under a Pale Moon concludes. Remember, check us out over on our YouTube channel at rollthehard20. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't want to miss a drop because I try not to miss it for you. All right, let's warm up our dice and top off our glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents our hard slingers of yore and new in their investigation in the Wasatch Mountains. Stay tuned. Yeah, I could always edit this part out. I just want to get the time down so I know how much I got. That other one was actually really close to an hour. I think it was short, like a few minutes of it, so that was cool.
We'll go back and vamp in some stuff. Just chatter in the hallway.
All right, so you guys wanted to know who was going to do what. Actually, let me lead us in.
Yeah, we already figured that out, I think.
Well, we'll let you know in a moment. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted handler, Brian. And with me, my hard slingers. Yeah.
Handle me some doubloons, baby.
Episode 3 of our Under a Pale Moon Delta Green scenario. Everybody having a good time with this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Original Delta Green, too.
Original.
None of that prefab box stuff. This is all organic, baby.
Not to mention, it's bi-coastal. We got people from Florida, Texas, and California.
Yeah,
We've got all 3 coasts combined.
That's true. All we need is some frog from Canada. We'll be good to go.
As we always say, watch your wives and your daughters because there's a hard slinger near you.
Watch those mud flaps. So, at the end of last episode, you guys wanted to partition with Paulie and Agent Nakamura to go interview the suspect who was in a holding cell. At the same time, Ichimaru, you and Romeo wanted to go and observe the bodies. And I said we would roll. By the way, it's Ranger Muha is his name. So there,
Ranger Muha.
Ranger Muha. So if I mispronounced his name in any of the previous episodes, it's Muha. Just know that.
And Johnny Belvin, right?
That's correct.
Ranger Johnny Belvin.
I picture this guy as the kind of guy with like a comb that flips out from a switchblade, you know? Johnny Belvin.
So shut the fuck. Muha gave Odesso gave you the key to go to the holding cell.
Got it.
And I told you I would roll 1 through 10 for the bodies, 11 through 20 to go interview. I rolled an 18.
Yeah, take that, Odessa.
No, that's Odessa.
Fine.
Who's going?
I thought I was 11 through 20 last time.
Were you?
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to the bodies. Are you sure?
I believe so.
Okay.
Don't believe him. It's bullshit.
Because I was going for
I'm
the
gonna
hard
roll a
one.
check on Sam's.
I'm not going to listen to the playback, so although I could, but I'm not going to. Okay, so you were going to go to the bodies first then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we'll do that portion because it's all happening simultaneously in
Yes.
game time.
Ichimaru, you and Romeo. Was it Romero or Romeo?
Romeo.
Romeo.
Like Romeo and Juliet.
All right, whatever. Ichimaru, you and Romeo
He's also Jewish, so.
Thanks. Go to the door in the northern hallway on the west side, the one that Nakamura had just came out of before finally seeing you guys. You open this room, and the first thing you notice when you entered the storage room is how cold it is. And Ranger Belvin had explained that both back windows had been left slightly open to keep the temp down and keep the decomp to a minimum. You see that it's approximately 25 feet from north to south and 50 feet from east to west. You see that there's a shelving unit that's against the east wall and 2 shelving units that are perpendicular to the west wall with a weight bench in the northwest corner. It's got a bar on it with some plates and some plates on the floor. And you see right in the middle of the room 3 long tables going north to south with tarps on each covering something underneath them.
Okay. Is there anything of note on these sort of shelves?
Or do you want to take a tour
Just-
of the room, kind of
just
walk around, just
real
kind of
quick.
eyeball them?
Just a cursory thing so I know where we're at, you know?
When you look to the east shelf, you notice that there's some sleeping bags, backpacks, canteens, flares, and some other cold weather attire. When you look at the shelf that's in the southwest, you can see that it has 2 flamethrowers on there. One of them has yellow tape around its muzzle, and you see 2 canisters beside it, or beside them both. And in the northwest shelf, you see that there are a few knives. You can tell by the glinting of the steel, as well as what looks like some kinds of small arms.
I think Romeo will very cautiously close the door to the outside.
Okay.
Don't want to let any warmth in on these bodies, right?
Right. And as you close the door, you look at the door, you look up, and you notice that there's a speaker for an intercom right above the door.
Okay. And he's going to wait on the bodies, and he'll go over to where the knives are, and he looks at Itchy, and he just gestures at the weapons, and kind of opens his hands like, should we?
Yeah, I think having... Well, I'm already concealing the tire iron on my body, so I think I'm good right now. But
You
So
see
he
that
goes and he
there
starts
are
putting on the
9
flamethrower.
knives on the shelf, by the way.
anything that would look like it out of a slot, like it would be missing if someone took one?
No, they're
It's
just
not a
they're
wood
just
block or anything.
they're just thrown on the shelf. None of them have a sheath, though.
Right. No, that's
Most likely, they've been dropped by campers in the hills, in the mountains and stuff. And as the rangers came across them, they just brought them back and put them on the storage shelf.
These are not kitchen knives, then. That's what I was thinking.
No, they're like survival knives, bushcraft knives, filleting knives.
Okay.
Hey,
you
if there's some
also-
more, grab it for me.
That's right. You also see on the shelf just below the knives that there's several small caliber rifles. You see that there are 3 22s. Each has a magazine in it. and you see one 357 lever action Winchester.
Ooh, I like the idea of a shotgun.
And just to the side of that, you see a 357 revolver.
Is this the one that was that the revolver that they found at the person that had the one chamber potentially missing? Do we remember? I don't recall that they told us a caliber on that of Ranger
It
Blevin.
shouldn't be sitting in a storage room. It should be logged as evidence.
That's
Well, this is
horrible, tradecraft if that's what they're doing with it.
Yeah. And there's flamethrowers.
Just so you know, this room is normally locked.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's just a ranger station. It's not a police station. So
I worry that if we were to be doing the heroic suiting up for battle sort of thing, that they would see things are missing. So Ichi at least is not going to take anything yet, though I will note the location and the various calibers because I can tell them to Odesso when he gets back.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we're not going to have a chance to get back. So I think, unless you argue, Ramirez is at least going to pocket one of the pistols and a knife. So he's not going to clear the shelf, but just enough. Because if we get into something where we can't get back to this stuff, we might as well not even be be here.
Yeah, I'm there's only one fighting unarmed, so my shooting is terrible.
There's only one pistol. And that's a 357 revolver.
Did you say 322s?
There are 322 rifles and one 357 lever action Winchester.
Maybe you can find a plastic bag or something like that and put it in there. And
he's got an overcoat, so he can conceal. Could he conceal the shotgun?
There are no shotguns.
Oh, what the?
He said a Winchester. That's a.
Oh, that's like shooting deer from off a mountain or whatever. I'm not a gun guy. I'm sorry.
It's just a make of a gun. It's just a lever action is what it is. It's
the 357 is more for a camp carbine.
Yeah.
It's not like the 30-30 where you're out taking stuff down. It's more for shooting around camp and taking down small game and whatnot.
I'll just take a knife because if they're like, let us show you that gun, and I have it in my pocket, that's going to get ugly. So he'll just take a knife. Yeah, let's look at these bodies then.
Okay. You got 3 tarps covering 3 different bodies.
As we go, I think Ramirez is just steeling himself because he knows anytime he sees stuff like this, it freaks him out, and obviously with the stories we've been hearing, it's going to be, he's steeling himself for whatever weirdness he's about to see, and he'll walk over to the corpse on the east side of the 3 tables, and he's going to lift up the thing in it. He's also preparing his little tape recorder to take some notes.
You pull the tarp back, and you see this severely mutilated body. It's a male, somewhere between mid-20s to mid-30s. It's really difficult to tell because of the damage it has sustained. You see his neck has been shredded, nearly severing the head from the body. You see the torso has just been shredded open, leaving an empty chest cavity. All vital organs that you can tell are completely missing. Just the whole scene just makes you want to reel back, and I need for both of you to make a sand check.
I didn't say I was looking.
You were. So you weren't. So.
Ooh, nice.
And this is what's coming out from Victim of the Art. We've seen this before.
But you never get used to this.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You never get used to seeing the unnatural, to seeing the mutilated bodies. What do you got there, Ramirez?
44 under 65.
Okay, so you take 1 point. Ichimaru.
What is the roll for the sanity check again?
It should be a sand check.
I have sand points. I'm looking for sand check. Sorry.
That's the points. Hang on a second.
Under your current?
Well, I have current, so I roll under my current?
Yeah, your sanity is your power times 5.
Okay, power times 5. Okay.
You see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Made it exactly 50.
Okay, so you'll take 1 point as well.
Whew.
As an aside, that was always the disincentive to play Delta Green, because the longer you play a character, the more their sanity whittles away.
So then you get to your character the peak of his abilities and becomes unplayable because he's gone insane. But now they've improved it so that you don't do that anymore. You have bonds to burn and ways of rehabilitation.
Yeah, and things that you do outside between missions and stuff, whether you burn a bond outside or you start therapy or things like that, that has definitely a positive effect on gaining that sanity back, gaining your hit points back and such.
Like on therapy, can you imagine the poor therapist hearing all this stuff, and every time your agent comes in for a therapy session, they have to make a sanity check.
So you're looking at this body, Romeo. What do you and Ichimo want to do with this?
Ramirez has his recorder out and he's logging this, what he's seeing, and he's basically describing it as like seems as if some sort of wild animal had ripped this open. Lacerations at the neck, and can I roll on the occult? Does this seem? Am I getting any feel of like a Wendigo, some sort of Native American occult beast?
I was gonna actually. You can make that roll if you want. Go ahead.
Damn, I'm rolling good tonight. This is 20 under 50.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like some kind of a Wendigo type thing, but why don't you guys both roll a forensics for me as you guys are going through checking this thing out? Because I'm assuming that you guys are looking at the body and checking it all out and whatnot.
If we're
I have no
untrained-
percentage on that.
Yeah, I got nothing.
The only thing I'd be going on is the knowledge of, stitching up knife wounds and cutting wounds and seeing the difference between a limb that's torn versus a limb that's ritually cut off.
How would you describe checking that?
I would look at the type of cut that it is. Is it, a knife wound is different
give me an
than
intelligence
a tear.
check with that.
Okay.
Then.
All right. Yeah, and this is all based off of, the experience of living in an entire Yakuza clan that cuts off fingers. Made it 16 out of 50.
As you're looking at this body, you see that the neck wound across the carotid artery doesn't appear to be one giant cut wound, but it actually appears to be 4 deep grooves that are so close together that it almost looks like one groove. And it looks like it stems right below the ear.
So 4 distinct sort of stabs?
Yeah, like it came across below, just underneath the left ear, and came all the way across.
Does it look like it's one cut or multiple cuts? Like the difference between a single knife or Wolverine knife or
it looks like a
claw?
Wolverine type knife, but they're so close together. You'd almost think that the hand went through almost at a horizontal arc, rather than where all 4 fingers were vertical.
Yeah,
it's like all 4 fingers were horizontal.
Knife hand.
Yes, like.
Shuto.
Do you know anything about animals? Are animals smart enough to attack this way, where they would go after this artery?
Everything goes after the jugular in life, but I don't know of any animals that have this sort of claw mark. Animals' claws, aside from mountain lions, bear claws are not piercing and they're more slashing, whereas these appear to be sharp.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe this was a random bear attack with this right here. And
3 random bear attacks.
With a pen kind of like indicating, as you've shown him where the slashes are. He's like, it's. I don't believe a bear could have done this.
It's time to sack up, as they say, and I'll pull the cloth over the next victim and the following victim.
So you display all 3 bodies as you're looking at them. Go ahead and tell me what you're looking at.
Do we need to roll any kind of sanity check on these?
No, not on the sanity, because you're still addressing the same carnage. So
I want to look to see if these are the sort of same, what's the right word? Not markings, but the same things that happened on each one. Are they all disemboweled? Do they all have the necks with the sort of shuto knife hand attacks against the thing?
Yeah, give me your roll.
Okay. And take a look at these as well, Ramirez. I'm not the brightest of candles on this. Apparently I am. I rolled a 14.
Sexy.
14. You're looking at it, and you notice that the chest cavity of the second one is identical to the first one you looked at.
Is the entire chest cavity open, like completely empty? Is what I want to say. I know they said
It's completely
eviscerated.
empty.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're looking at the carotid laceration, Ichi, you notice that this one starts from beneath the right ear and goes across from the right ear across the neck.
And the other one was from the left?
Yes.
Okay.
So something ambidextrous, I would think.
Okay, what about, I'll check it out on the third one as well.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Yes. 49 out of 50.
This body, although it's in, I wouldn't say a greater state of decay, but it looks like it's probably been subjected to much more damage. Chest cavity ripped open,
victim,
ribs
maybe?
are broken,
Completely
empty, and you notice that again on the neck, it looks that like the lacerations started under the right ear and made it across from the right ear across the throat.
What does that say to you, Ichi? If the first one was completely destroyed and then it's getting more calm and methodical as it goes, it's satiating something?
Potentially. Usually with people, the first one is erratic, and then the further that they do these things, the more precise they get. The less,
Methodical.
the less reckless. It's not a passion that consumes them. Now they're plotting. So I don't know.
I have a feeling that if we don't find Agent Kramer, we're going to be looking at a fourth one that's very methodically done this way as well.
Well, if that's the case, then the cut should be going from right to left. Because everything has been alternate here. But Handler, the first one you said is more ripped and broken. Is that due to the ferocity of the attack? I'll make a roll. The ferocity attack, or is this elements? Is this animals? Like,
It's probably because it was out there maybe a little longer.
okay,
Yeah,
so
like it seems
would
more
most
the
wear and
elements.
tear.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
So
you got
the
to figure that
elephants
until the Rangers were apprised of those missing campers, who really knows how many days this guy had been out there for before they found him.
Okay, well, I will definitely note. Does the I don't think I would. Does the flamethrowers and all that have any sort of directions with it?
I will let you know that in a minute.
Next game. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
No. Spent like
okay.
15 minutes.
Agent
I think-
Adesso, you and Agent Nakamura, with a key in your hand, start heading down towards the holding cells. And as you pass the first door against the west wall, you see the door open, and out comes Ranger Belden. And he looks at you two, and he's like, where are you guys going? And he closes the door behind him. You can see he's got like some supplies in his hands. He's like, where are you agents going?
We're going to go interview the suspect. Are those medical supplies you have?
No, they're kitchen supplies, coffee, any sugar and stuff. And he shows you the boxes. That's just our dry storage behind us. You're going to go
Gotcha.
interview this guy?
That's correct. You don't have any objection, do you, Ranger?
I'm just trying to see where you're going with this, though. I mean, we got him dead to rights. Don't you think it'd be best just take him into custody and take him down the mountain when the weather permits?
Well, he's in custody. We're not going anywhere for a while because, as you said, no one's coming till at least tomorrow. Why not see what he has to say?
Yeah, I suppose, but look, I know you agents have probably seen some shit being part of the profiler unit. But this guy Macklemore, he takes the prize.
Macklemore, huh? What's his first name?
That's it's kind of strange. His first name's Thomas, but you just look at this guy. There's something just wrong about him. I mean, when
How
Muha
old
brought
is
him in,
Thomas Macklemore, do you happen to know?
I'm sorry, what's that?
How old is Thomas Macklemore?
Well, he looks like he's 33 years old. But here's the thing: like, when Ranger Muha brought him in, here, can you hold on to this for a second? And he hands you some of this stuff because, it's fumbling about and his hands are starting to move as he's describing this. When Muha brought him in, he was only in jeans and a t-shirt. He didn't have any ID on him. And while he was circling the drain, I pulled his prints and ran them. They came back saying his name is Thomas McLemore and that he's been missing for the past 27 years. It also says he went missing in these very mountains when he was 33 years old. But I'm telling you, this guy looks like he's 33 years old. He doesn't look that old. There must be something wrong. I don't get it. You hear
okay, did he have any shoes?
Ranger Bowens to reception, please. He's that's Muha. What was that again, Agent? I'm sorry. I gotta hurry up and get going.
No problem. We'll talk more later.
Yeah. Here, let me take that stuff back. And he takes a few of the boxes and.
A few?
Well, he handed him all the boxes.
Some? Oh, okay.
Enjoy the creamer.
All right. Odessa whispers to Nakamura as they start walking towards the thing. The guy disappeared 27 years ago and he's 33. Who in the heck takes fingerprints of a 5-year-old? How would this guy have been printed? That's very strange.
So you find yourself in front of the door.
Gotcha. All right. Open the door and walk. Is it locked?
Yes, it is.
Walk in. Okay. We'll unlock it.
You open the door and it opens onto a soft-lit room that's stuffy and warm. It's the holding room. You see that there's a barren desk against the east wall and 2 barred cells that occupy the entire west wall. Each cell contains a fixed metal framed cot, with the northernmost cell's cot being occupied. You see that the occupant is actually lying on his right side, his head turned towards the windowless wall. And you see his long, wavy hair basically trying to cover his eyes and shield them from the overhead lights.
Gotcha.
As he hears you guys enter the room, he doesn't turn over but says, "So, you finally decided to grace me with your presence. About time. I've been hungry for hours."
Who were you expecting?
He turns over and he looks at both of you and he looks confused, almost as though he expected somebody else. You see he stands up and you finally get to see this killer in his cell. He's a man in his mid-30s, shoulder-length dark hair, wearing only blue jeans and a blood-soaked t-shirt. He's got no belt around his waist nor shoes upon his feet. He looks like Harry Hamlin from Clash of the Titans.
Gotcha. Have your wounds been treated?
Yeah, they tried to staunch some of the flow. Might have got me not as bad as they thought, probably. I don't know. Seem to be feeling a little bit better. Really hungry, though.
Okay. Who were you expecting?
Well, I expected those other idiotic rangers to say that they made a mistake. That they done screwed the pooch. They got the wrong guy.
Did they tell you anything?
They said I'm guilty of some such shit. Killing people. Do I look like a killer to you?
I don't know yet. Why were you out in the forest all by yourself in clearly inadequate clothing?
They took my clothes from me.
What did they take?
My cold gear. They took it.
When you say they, who do you mean?
Well, those 2 rangers. That I don't know, the Indian-looking fella and the howdy-doody puppet-looking guy.
Yeah. And they took your belt, your they took your belt, your coat, and your shoes. Is that correct?
Yeah. Are you boys going to get me out of here?
Well, we just got a few questions before we can make that determination.
I'm starving. I haven't ate in forever. I'm hungry.
We'll get you something to eat. Don't you worry. But I need you to answer a few questions for me. First off, did you see anything out in those woods?
Besides being shot for wandering in the hills, I was lost. Next thing I know, I'm shot up, put on the back of a snowmobile and brought back down. Who does that? You know I'm innocent, right? Of whatever they're saying. You know I'm innocent.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Just
You
tell
keep
me out here.
saying that. I need a hamburger
You were
or
shot.
something.
Were you carrying anything?
I'll carry my dick. I ain't got nothing. I'm just out there in the woods walking around.
Why
My
were you
camping
in the woods?
stuff is gone. I had a backpack. Ain't got nothing no more.
Oh, so you were camping. When were you camping there?
Well, you want to know a time? You want to know a date? It was this
Yeah.
weekend.
Help me out. This weekend. Okay.
Yes. The weather started turning. Look,
How did you get out there?
I hiked. How does anybody else get out there?
Sure,
You
hiked,
take
but
shuttles in. You hang out at the tavern down there. You pay a shuttle guy. He's got a small van bus, and he takes people up the mountain, and they start hiking. They work their way down.
Is that how you got out there?
That's how I got out there.
And when did you get the shuttle? When did you pick that up?
A couple of days ago. I got lost in the woods. I couldn't find my way down.
Okay, so you got lost, and you were just out there hiking around. So your stuff's still out there, is that right?
Most of it, yeah.
Okay, so what did you have with you?
When I got lost, I
Yeah,
had my
before you got
shoes and my jacket and I had a walking stick,
No, before you got lost, what did you have with you?
a backpack, a machete.
You have a tent,
No tent.
sleeping bag.
I had a lean-to, just a top.
Okay.
You
You have a
know,
sleeping
and
bag.
No, I just lay out a bed roll on the floor.
Okay. Do you?
He's like scratching himself, kind of like,
Uh-huh.
fidgeting about.
Gotcha. As I'm looking at him, can I see under his fingernails? Does it look like he's got any blood or anything under his fingernails? That
Yeah,
doesn't
he
look
looks
fresh?
bloody as all hell.
Okay. Probably his own then.
Possibly.
Okay. Possibly. And Mr.
Macklemore.
Macklemore. Sorry, Mr. Macklemore. What is it you do for a living?
I'm currently between jobs right now. Wow. You going to
What'd
offer
you do
me
for
a
your
job?
last
Are you
job?
looking for help on the FIB?
We didn't say we were FBI. Oh, that's right. Makamura's got himself a whole.
He's right there. He's
He's wearing a giant FBI. Okay.
It says FBI undercover.
Right. Yeah. All right, so before your last job, what did you do for your last job?
I used to do some wooding, do odd farm things. People hire me up to to build fences or whatever.
Okay.
Just drift from one job to another. Look, I mean, you gonna get me something to eat?
Yeah, we'll get you something to eat. Just need to answer a few more questions. Did you see anything out there? There was a couple hikers that were missing. Actually, you might have been one of the hikers they thought were missing. But did you hear or see anything while you were out in the woods?
I've been in the woods for days. I don't have radio. I can't get AM. I don't have any radio. How am I going to know anything about anybody being missing? I was lost.
Sure, but when you were walking around, did you happen to come across anything?
I came across nobody until that ranger drew down on me and shot my ass.
Okay. All right.
Look, I know you think I've done some shitty things. I could tell. Things that and I have done shitty shit in my past. Things that you'd make just despise you. I despise myself thinking about it. But whatever you all saying I've done, I didn't do it.
What things have you done in the past?
Well, I've stolen and I've hurt people. I broke hearts. Does that count? Kind of pulls his pants up like he's some hot piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. No, that doesn't count. But all right, so you're hungry and you feel lightheaded or anything like that?
No, just hungry. I know you boys think I'm the boogeyman, but I think you've got the wrong suspect behind these bars.
Can I do a human check on him? See if I can tell if he's lying.
Sure.
All right, now is that that's a percentage, isn't it? Okay, so my human is what is that? Human is I got a under 50. So 48.
Nice.
Nice one.
Rolling hot tonight, boys.
He seems like he's telling half truths.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's giving you information, but it's almost incomplete.
Yeah, he's got more to give.
So you're out in the woods. When did you get lost? Your first day? Your second day?
Probably like 3 days ago, maybe.
So you've been wandering around for 3 days. Is that right?
Almost as long as I've been wandering around this stupid conversation.
So you were out there in your lean-to. 3 days, no problems. How did you get lost?
The weather started to turn. It's hard to navigate at night. It gets cold. I'm trying to get off the mountain. Once you get in those mountains, you can't see what's on the other side of the mountains. You have to get up on top and then see. And imagine your disappointment when you see that there's just more mountains when you get up to the top. I mean, you're running out of food. You ain't got no water. You're sucking sap out of leaves.
Do you have a map?
I lost it.
Compass?
No, I don't.
So you went up. Now, did you lose them while you were hiking?
I think so, yeah. Or that ranger might have shot it off me or something. I don't know. I saw a camp up ahead. I started going to it. I thought maybe somebody could help me get off the mountain. And I heard somebody yell something at me. I thought he was thinking I was stealing from his tent. I turned to run away, and I got shot.
So you came upon a campsite when you were arrested, is that right?
Yes.
What was at the campsite?
A tent?
Anything else?
I just a tent and like what was left of a fire pit. There was, the only thing that was there was this ranger.
Anything else?
What else you looking for? Damn it!
Signs of a struggle?
It was nighttime. I don't know. I can barely see.
Okay. Did you smell?
If it weren't for the moon, I wouldn't be able to see anything.
Did you smell anything?
The fuck do I look like? I didn't. What am I supposed to be smelling there?
You didn't smell
Agent?
anything like fresh blood or spore of an animal?
Oh my
anything
goodness!
else?
No, the only blood I smell now is my own.
Right. Okay. So, what had happened when you were arrested?
I woke up in here.
Okay.
All I know was I was shot many times, and then I woke up here.
Okay. All right. We'll be back with some food. I look at Nakamura, and we'll walk outside.
Hey, as you guys are walking, he grabs my hand. Wait, agents, you can't leave me in here alone.
He turns back around. Why is that?
I don't want to get finished off.
By who?
By the motherfucker that shot me.
No, that's not going to happen. Could you describe who shot you?
It was that Indian fella.
Okay. Well, he won't be bothering you again. So you just chill out.
I want to press charges. I want to file a report.
We'll be back.
And I want a hamburger.
Food. Okay.
Thank you. I love you.
Stop breaking hearts.
All right, he closes the door, and Adesso turns to Nakamura and says, "You think the guy was lying? Because I got the distinct feeling he ain't our guy for these murders."
I don't know, but I think that I was seeing red like a rising sun. I wanted to kill him. If he
why?
If he did something to my partner, we have to know more.
What made you think he did something to your partner?
The ranger and Kramer went out to the last crime scene to investigate it. Kramer didn't come back.
Yeah, but here, you remember what he said. He said there was only one person who arrested him. He turned around and looked and saw only one person. He described him as the guy who shot him. That was Ranger. Yes, the ranger
Muha.
with the funny name, Muha. He only describes Ranger Muha being out there. He doesn't mention Kramer at all.
Yes, but like they said, they got separated.
Who said they got separated? Refresh my memory on that.
Ranger Muha told me that.
How did they get separated?
I don't know.
We're gonna
That's what I asked him. I said, where where is Martin? And he said that they got separated.
So they get separated. He grabs this guy, puts him on the back of the snowmobile, and then just takes off, leaving Martin out there on his own.
Well,
That's
from
what's
my
happening.
understanding, when they got separated, he tried to call him several times. I don't know. Go talk to.
We will talk to him.
Yes.
Let's find out. Let's see this guy's stuff first. Let's go to the storeroom and get Ranger Belvin. I want to see this guy's stuff.
Okay.
What he had with him.
So you know that Belvin is somewhere in the station.
Right.
Okay.
He was at the reception desk.
You and Nakamura are going to start heading towards the reception desk. Back in the storage room, Ichimaru and Romeo, what do you want to do?
Well, I think we gathered the information we had, and aside from any further glances by Odessa or Makamura, I mean, they may be able to find some more information.
You said you wanted to look at something, by the way, before.
I did want to just take a look at the flamethrowers, just in case we could end up using those when we fight the Thing at the end of this 80s movie.
Are there any directions? I think was the question. Does it have like a fire extinguisher where it gives you kind of PASS? Tells you how to like.
Yeah, is there like a
bless
little
them?
card that says how to use it? 'Cause
There's
I'd love
not
to
a
be able
card,
to-
but there's like a stenciled, step 1, insert fuel, step 2, light primer, step 3, squeeze, make sure that the
Like aim away from face.
Yeah, it's really limited. You would think that the instructions on how to use it are probably more involved with a book that might have come with it, but it's not here.
These are the cliff notes.
Yeah, you see 2 bottles and 2 flamethrowers. One of them has a yellow tape wrapped around it.
Okay, and do they appear full with whatever that's called, acetylent or whatever the word is, fuel?
You with your $3 mayonnaise words.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even a real word, but it sounded smart as hell.
Yeah. That's a gold doubloon.
Tell me how you want to inspect how full these things are.
I want to pick it up and shake it,
Yeah, shake it.
just like I would a bucket of water or anything like that. I figure you pick it
Feel
up.
the temperature too. It might be colder, like CO2 is like cold when it's in something.
Neither one of them feel like they're full, but they don't feel like they're empty. They're somewhere in the between quarter to 3/4 full.
Okay, enough for a couple good blasts.
And I want to take a quick look at the bodies again. Not the whatever. Do they have personal effects with them, or were they stripped down?
No, they're stripped down. The only thing they have left is like
change.
they just have their underwear
Hell
on.
yeah, there could be credit cards in here, son. Yeah, if that's good then. I'm good to move on.
Yeah, I say we move out and try to reconnect with Odessa.
We got to get this guy his hamburger.
As you guys are, I was going to say, as you guys are leaving the storage room, you see Paulie and Nakamura walking up the hallway right at the same time that you guys are coming out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I guess meet up with them.
Odessa gives him a brief. Yeah, my gut says that this guy ain't the guy. He says he was out there for 3 days, lost in the forest, lost his map, lost his compass, wandering around. He comes upon an empty campsite, and Ranger Muha starts shooting him. Oddly enough, he doesn't mention anything about our other missing agent, Melvin Kramer. He says the only person he saw,
Martin Kramer.
the only person he saw was Ranger Muhaha, who shot him. who shot him while he was in the camp. And they threw him on the back of the snowmobile and brought him here, treated his wounds. They took his stuff from him. They took his coat, his boots, and his belt. Did you happen to see anything, a box of stuff like that in the storeroom?
There was all sorts of weapons and collected items, like a veritable lost and found of things, but nothing that appeared to be someone's just, camping stuff.
Got it.
There was cold weather gear in there, I believe, GM?
Yeah, there were tents, sleeping bags, cold weather gear, flares, things like that.
Okay, well, I'll let Odessa know that, but it didn't appear to be something that's from someone wandering around and disheveled and all that. The bodies in there are very grim, so I would avert your eyes unless you want to, you know, inspect them anymore.
We give him a quick rundown of what the wounds look like with the karate chop slices and whatnot.
I looked at the bodies already. I don't want to
Ramir's
look at
like,
them
"Are you still
anymore."
here? Oh God!"
Yes, I'm still here.
Odessa
You
looks
said-
at each. Does it look like a weapon to you, or does it look like an animal?
Does not look like any weapon necessarily that I would know, but also it doesn't seem like a wild bear did this. A bear strong enough to disembowel and rip and root, nor does it look like a pack of wild coyotes or wolves that may be in this. Hell, even a mountain cat, it doesn't look like something like that.
And Romero, you said some, or Ramirez, you said something about a cult. Does this look like it would be part of a ritual? Like the entrails were removed as part of some kind of ceremony?
I can't think of anything specific from what I know and my knowledge. Remember on the way up here, I mentioned something happened in the 80s. What you said about that man being so he vanished a long time ago, and he still looks like he's 33. That's incredibly weird to me.
Well, that's the thing. He says he was out here wandering around, but he was only 3 days ago. He references the shuttle that he took from the departure point that brings him up to the mountain, and then they drop him off, and he's out there. No tent, no sleeping bag, just a bedroll and a lean-to. So maybe we can look around through some of the records and figure out whether or not they recovered anything like that, like a guy who was in the middle of a camp out. It doesn't make much sense. He's at a camp, then he starts wandering around, not really sure what he was thinking, but I would like to see the stuff he had with him. Let's find Ranger Belvin
I
and find out
appreciate
what he has to
everybody
say.
going and looking at all this stuff, but it is getting later, and Agent Kramer is still out there.
I was thinking this has got to be getting into like sunset time, right? So,
Oh, it's past sunset.
yeah, this is ugly.
Yeah. With respect to the human, just thought of a couple things. We should go find Kramer. We've got enough information from the bodies that we're probably looking at some kind of animal. You guys found the firearms. We'll ask. Let's find Belvin or Muha and find out whether or not we can take a pistol and some other things with us as we go out and look for Kramer.
Do you want to go out tonight?
Yeah, we want to go out now before it gets too dark. The moon will help us illuminate. As long as there's no snow falling, we got to find Kramer. So let's have Muha take us right to where he found Mr. McElwain or Macklemore.
Macklemore.
Macklemore, Makamura, McElwain.
And as somebody that's been in these sorts of situations and not having food, I think we should get the guy a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Get him a little gesture of civility, make him feel good.
Whereabouts are you guys having this discussion?
I would assume in the middle of the hallway where we both met.
Okay.
Probably, it looks like an upside down L to me. So halfway in between the where the prisoner is and where the bodies are, kind of in that nook.
Got it.
Before you head back into the kitchen.
And as you guys are having this conversation, you see on the other hallway to the east, you see Ranger Belvin and Ranger Muha come around the corner, and they see the four of you collectively talking. And you see Agent Belvin come up faster than Muha, because Muha's kind of limping as he's making his way towards you. He says, "Agents, can I be of assistance? Is anything, you want to enlighten us what our next step is?"
Next step is to find Marvin Kramer. That's
Martin.
our next step.
Still
Kramer.
Martin.
Tim Kramer.
Martin. Yeah.
Just
next thing is
Agent
to find-
Kramer.
Agent Kramer. The next thing is to find Agent Kramer. And can we borrow that lever action and a couple of those 22s? Unless, of course, you have anything a little bit heavier for us. We didn't get to bring our prime weaponry on the aircraft.
I don't know. They're not really our weapons to hand out. I suppose
If
running
it is
by
lost and found,
Nakamura.
nobody will miss him.
Sure.
we don't. All we have is I've got my Sig and Ranger Muha. He's got his revolver, and he just kind of pats it on the side, and
You guys got a shotty in the Bronco out there?
no, we're just using our handguns. Why don't you try to make a persuasion check against him to see if he could if he would step up to that.
Right.
And he's going to use an opposing roll against that.
Persuasion. I got under 30. Oh, this ought to be good.
That's good, right? Oh,
No.
I can try to.
And I got a 69. He is not persuaded at all.
Check the box,
That
though.
was a failure.
He just looks at you dubiously, like he's contemplating it, but he's not.
This is
Not
Belvin.
convinced by me.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah, Belvin.
Ranger Belvin. We intend to go looking for the lost agent tonight.
Okay.
We would definitely like to have some sort of firepower backup. If we're not able to have any of these weapons, do you plan to go out there with us? Perhaps maybe Ranger Muha as well?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, where are you going to go look for him at? The last place that he was seen was at the last crime scene, and we only have one snowmobile that could get us out there.
How far of a
Bronco
walk
will
would
take
it
us
be?
out
then?
there?
So like,
Would the Bronco be able to take us out there?
no, I'm sorry. The forest, the woods are just way too dense to get it in there. You'd be better off taking the snowmobile.
Where's
At
the
most-
other snowmobile? Kramer has it?
Kramer had it, and when Ranger Muha brought the body back, he obviously couldn't drive them both.
Right.
So the one that Kramer had gone out on. That is Agent Kramer. Yes, I'm sorry. The one that Agent Kramer had gone out on is still at the site.
I don't suppose you keep a GPS locator on your equipment, do you?
I'm sorry. Most of the
Shoddy,
stuff
shoddy.
here. Have you seen the intercom system? This dates back to when I was in grade school. Most of this stuff here is just archaic. I mean, the Bronco's a 1991 Bronco. It's old as hell. So
By the way, Agent Belvin, Ranger Belvin, did Ranger Muha hurt himself bringing in the piece of crap that's in the cell there? I noticed him limping. Does he need someone to take a look at that, or is that an old?
I'm just old. I've been doing this job forever.
I'm sorry, I didn't see him right there.
Yeah, they both came around the corner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've been doing this job for 32 years. I'm not going to quit. I'm just
No,
not
sir.
going to move fast.
So
That's right.
Ramirez, a little
You
bit
been
better
here
with the
long?
persuasion. Yeah. So he's gonna try to back up Adesso with the firearm question. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he says, obviously, Agent Nakamura, is that right? So he's like,
Yes.
since Nakamura's in charge here, I'm sure, if he has no obligation, no objections to us taking these things, and he kind of like looks at Nakamura, nothing, and he's like, I'm sure you guys
I have
will be
no
okay.
objection to it at all.
Thank you.
Agents.
And obviously, we'll bring everything right back. Just, cautionary. And
Agent
he will-
Nakamura, how do you suggest we search for Agent Kramer? There are 4 of us, and there's currently 1 snowmobile that can seat 2.
Well, I would suggest a 2-man crew go out looking for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you think there is something else that you could do other than we would all have to walk out there.
Yeah.
How far did you say it was? It was about 3.5, 4 miles.
At night in the snow, or potential snow.
uphill both
Well, the
ways.
snow will make it easy to track. Since it hasn't had any new snow, we can use the old tracks to find out exactly where they were.
And that was a 28 under 65 on the persuasion.
Let me do my human int.
Okay.
And I got a 3.
Damn. Okay.
So he's still kind of up in the air about letting you take the weapons. He's like, look, I'll tell you what. If you guys want to take the snowmobile, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I'll tell you what. Shit,
Can I push with the gold doubloon? And he kind of like flashes the FBI.
I can try. I
agent
still haven't
badge.
rolled mine yet.
Okay.
Right?
No, you haven't. So if you want to
that's
do
what I
your
was-
persuasion as well. If not, you can make me re-roll mine.
Go Sammy.
Yeah, we don't want to burn a doubloon yet. We can always do that if I fail if we need to. But no, like that's what I was getting at. Like, well, unless Ranger, unless one of you is going to accompany us and we're going to go out there, we need to have some sort of firearms to protect ourselves against the wild creatures of these forests. We don't know them like you do. If Agent Makamura, who is in charge here, says it's okay, then it should be okay with you. We, of course, will take full responsibility to make sure that these weapons are returned to their owners, though apparently they seem to be in a lost and found right now.
I don't know how it would look if the two of us went out there and we didn't have something. What would that look like? He just chimes in.
Well, look, I'm sorry, but don't put that on me. All right, don't put that on me.
Persuade is under 53. Let me see. 57. That's a miss.
Fuck.
It's like a
Balloon time.
Maybe we use it because we are going to need guns.
All right, re-roll.
All right, I will
Cross it out.
re-roll. 91.
All right.
Awesome.
Fails. What do you think, Sam? I think that you should go ahead. All right, I'll tell you what. Two of you guys are going out. Go ahead and grab one weapon each, but the other two stay. I need to know you agents aren't going rogue on me. I mean, I've only been doing this for a couple of years, and I've seen what it's like. I've read a lot of books.
Ramirez turns to Odessa and he's like, I find it so funny when local cops think that they're in charge. Isn't that funny?
Well, wait a second,
Hilarious.
agents.
We come in here and we're
not,
just,
It's
Especially
not
when they
about me
misspeak
being
their
in charge.
prisoners
It's
by
about whose
That is
ass is
very
going to get along.
interesting.
When it's all said and done and all the dust settles, you agents are going to get back on your bird and head back to Quantico. And me and Ranger Muha, I've got to answer for everything that goes on here. I'm just, I got a pension to worry about too. I got a baby on the way.
Perhaps you
That's
should give the guy in the
fantastic.
cell something to eat after you shot him a couple times. He's pretty hungry. Thought
You know,
about that?
Last time I saw him, he wasn't even stirring. He was out like a light. We're talking comatose out. What do you mean he's hungry?
He's up, walking around, came up to the bars, grabbed him, had a whole conversation with us.
Belvin looks back at the other Rangers. Like, the fuck, man? I'll go check it out.
Would you
I
like
asked
to
him
come
if
with
he
us,
wanted to go
sir?
with him.
Yeah.
So who's going to
Well,
go
you
with
should
him,
go with him.
and who wants to jump on? Who wants to get the weapons and go on the snowmobile?
Well, I think maybe Odessa, you should go in there since you were the one interrogating him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can get whatever weapons. We still have to figure out who's going to go out there or not. Who's best suited to stay or who's best suited to search. I have nothing in search. But I guess that's probably more for like home stuff. I do have survival.
I
No,
got
I
a
don't.
54 in search.
I got a 26 in search, so I'm not very helpful there either.
Okay.
Well, who has anything in navigate
I
to get their asses out there?
Shit, I got a 10%.
well,
I
I
got
do
10%
have a.
navigation too.
Okay.
I have nothing in navigate, though my unarmed is almost at 60, so I won't need a weapon. If they're saying that you only get 2, then maybe, I don't know, do we split it up to where each person, both groups have a weapon, or do we want the 2 out searching to each have the weapon?
I just love how in all of these situations they're like, well, we don't want you to actually have what you need. You can just have like partial. Like, we're gonna take
well,
everything.
nothing's
you have.
stopping us from going there and taking more.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
Oh.
See, like I said, going rogue.
Going rogue. And it's like, and they're always like, it's us against you and all these.
Well,
it's
we'll
like,
have to settle this up next episode.
Next
The
episode.
Rogue fucking agents.
oh yeah, we're gonna burn this place to the
Rogue
ground.
agents, man.
Rogue.
Got 2 fucking Agent Karens here.
Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We also have a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over and hit that subscribe bell. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.